we don't need roads.
Ladies, seriously, it's such an honor to meet both of you. I am genuinely obsessed with this movie, so seriously, thank you for taking the time.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to jump into this. There's a really profound, interesting, powerful thing that happens a few times in this movie, and it's everyone's reaction when they see Charlie for the first time. You can almost like read like a novel of emotions in everyone's face when that happens. I was wondering if, as actors, you could take me to the first time you saw Brandon as Charlie on set or in rehearsal. Like, what went through your mind the first time you guys actually saw him in the prosthetics and the makeup?
For me, it wasn't the outward transformation, it was the inward transformation that Brendan Fraser went through. We had a 3-week rehearsal period prior to filming, and what Brendan did at that first table read is completely different from what he did on set, and I cannot explain it. It was just a change in the light in his eyes.
What do you guys think that he like discovered on set that wasn't there in that table read? That's interesting to me that it was different.
That's just a secret, and you'll have to ask Brendan to elaborate.
Fair enough. Sadie, what about you? What was your first reaction whenever you saw him?
I mean, it was really beautiful, incredibly impressive, and it just felt like, yeah, like that something had shifted in Brendan, and it felt like that Charlie was just there all of a sudden, and Brendan being in his body, I think, it was the final piece of the puzzle, and to truly bring this character to life. And it was just really inspiring to watch him go through that.
For sure. Each of you obviously have really great experiences working in television, whether it be something like Stranger Things or Watchmen, which I think is a masterpiece. In those situations, you have episodes and hours upon hours to flesh out these characters. If you'd had that kind of time with these characters, what are some aspects of who they are that you would have loved to explore even further if you'd had that kind of TV time, whereas now you just sort of had that finite 2 hours?
I think we got more time on this than I've experienced on my TV show, at least that I've worked on. Yeah, for TV, I think it's much more fast paced. There's no rehearsal process, at least for our show. But yeah, so this actually was the first time I really got to have like a rehearsal period on a project and really fully dive into a character in this way, and with this kind of support and help. So yeah, I think it's definitely the opposite.
That's interesting.
The amount of dialogue we had in this movie was enough for like a 10-episode show. It was based off of Sam Hunter's play, and they really kept that. They didn't open up the world or add 20 extra characters unnecessarily. We had so many long scenes with really great monologues, and that's such a treat for an actor to get, because oftentimes it's a little pop here and there, but you don't get these really beautiful, gorgeous monologues to do.
But it's also like the fastest 2 hours I've experienced in a theater in a very long time. I'm going to cut you guys loose on this. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I broke down like a baby at the end of this movie. Like, it wasn't even like a cute single tear. I'm talking like an ugly gagging cry. I'm always curious, like in a film like this, if actors involved have the ability to have the same reaction, or if you're too close to it. Like, can you cry watching your own work, or does that just not happen?
I definitely cried after I saw it for the first time, and it was not for my own work. It was just getting to experience the story. And I was surprised. I didn't think I would cry again on the second viewing, but I think I cried even more when we saw it in Venice.
Yeah, I think I watched it with my mom for the first time, and I definitely cried. I think just like watching it in the last sequence, it just you're kind of put back in that moment, and watching it, weirdly, I just kind of was like reminded of Ellie, and like was right back in that room. And then also like to be with my mom, and she was really crying. It was a very emotional first viewing, but yeah, I definitely was shocked to kind of have that reaction to something that I thought was like, oh, did it a long time ago and whatever, but no, that was not the case.
Was it, all right, be honest, was it the cute single tear, or were you guys ugly crying like me?
Ugly crying.
I was
Yes.
pressing it.
I think
but
there's video out there, unfortunately, from Venice.
I love a good ugly cry. Ladies, if you can't tell, I just worship your performances in this. And this film is just, it's one of the most powerful, like incredible films I've seen in a very long time. So seriously, I appreciate your time and thank you for making just incredible art. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye, you too.
Bye.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.